All right, it's another Sunday. Who's gonna be singing with us?
The herb is free.
Babylon
Babylon
is
is
not
not
free.
free. They
Hey,
just can't stand to see
they
this
can't
little
stand
tree.
to see that little tree. Mm-mm. So setting up Facebook Live. When you smoke your dirty coke. I love this little song.
Do you see me smiling with my triumph in my hand?
You've been carrying feelings, now you're in my garden.
You and your squad is trying to cut down all my herbs, feeble trees and let
My
them
cousin loves this song.
Lord, Lord.
Can't you see you're destroying the environment? Whoa, feeble trees and let them be.
Boy, boy, can you see a boy in a
Oh,
hole in
another
the
ozone
ozone
layer.
layer?
Hey,
Don't you
just
now?
setting up
I'm
Facebook
just
Live.
a little youth now. Don't give you a food already. Oh, you are once a root just
Just
steady.
steady.
But everything shows
Hey,
up
hey,
again. I run up them and me drop it again. In such event, you can't get direct sense. Give I back I stress.
fever trees and let them be.
Lord, Lord,
Can't
can
you
you see
see
you're
you're
destroying
destroying
the
the environment?
environment?
Whoa.
Whoa.
Let's see. I
Fever
don't get any warnings as yet because we're not on
trees
Facebook
and
as yet.
let
Gonna
them
turn on
be. Boy,
Instagram
boy,
Live too.
can you see you're
Let's have some fun.
burning a
It's
hole in
Sunday.
the ozone layer?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Whoa.
not just about smoking. It's my medicine, my food, and
My
my
medicine, my
clothing.
food, and my what? My
And for
clothing.
spiritual reasons, my meditation, straight and open. And it's a way of
It's a way of
surviving. I
surviving.
should have
Woo!
found the suffering classes. Think of
Oh, where's my
all the
other phone?
children it
Jesus.
sent to school. Leave the
Oh Lord.
trees
Where is
and
my other
let them
phone?
be. Boy,
Hmm.
boy, can't you
Hmm.
see you're destroying the environment, boy? Leave the
I have to
trees
get my
and
other
let them
phone.
be.
Hi,
Boy,
Talia. How
boy,
are you?
can't you see you're boring a hole
Getting
in
ready
the
for this
ozone
Facebook
layer?
Live, but I can't find my
Ah.
phone.
When you drink your dirty rum and you
You ever
fall
see this
and tumble
nonsense here now?
down,
Sit
you
here.
see me standing with my skin
Shoot,
right
Tommy
in
said it's
my
working. I gotta turn my
hand.
phone on.
You've been
Carrying
carrying
feelings.
feelings, now you're in my
Been carrying feelings. I know
garden.
you're in my
You
garden trying
and
to
your
harass me.
squad is
Leave the
trying to
trees.
cut down all I heard. Leave the
Yeah.
trees
Let me
and
get my
let them
charger.
be. Lord,
Just chill
Lord,
out with
can't
Chesedek.
you
Everything
see
cool
you're
so far. Nobody not
destroying
telling me
the
about.
environment?
This is Chesedek.
Whoa,
Leave the
leave the
trees. I'm going to pull it up. So a sweet little song. My cousin loves this one. Looking
The
for my
herb
charger.
is
Sorry,
free.
carelessness. I don't have it ready. Sorry.
Babylon is not free. They just can't stand to see this little tree.
Sit here. Praise God. Hi, Pankaj. How are you? Nice to see you. Just trying to get my charger.
When you smoke your dirty coke and it turn you in a
All right.
goat, do you
I
see
like to
me
watch the comments at
smiling
the
with
same
my
time.
trial in my hand?
You've
You've
been
been
carrying
carrying
feelings.
feelings,
Now
now
you're
you're
in
in
my
my
garden. You
garden.
come with your
You
foolishness.
and your squad is trying to cut down all my herbs. Leave the trees and let them be.
Critical conversations with
Lord,
Monique will
Lord,
begin when I
can't
get my
you
phone on.
see you're destroying the environment, boy? Leave the
Wow, it's so dead.
trees and
I
let
thought it was
them be.
charged. I thought my phone was
Boy,
charged.
boy, can't you see you're boring a hole in the ozone layer?
Morning, Facebook.
Oh.
Morning, Instagram. I'm just having fun.
I'm just a little youth now. Don't give you
Just steady yourself now. You're coming over to me with your drama and your stress. I come talk nonsense. Alright, no problem. I'm gonna wait for that to charge a bit. I thought it was charged. Can't you see you're destroying the environment? Oh, leave the trees and let them be. Boy, boy, can't you see you're boring a hole that it doesn't lay on? Alright, let me see if I can figure it out here. It's my medicine, my food, and my clothing. And for spiritual reasons. Free the trees. It's a way of surviving. It's a way of surviving. Alright. All the children it's sent to school. Leave the trees and let them be. Boy, boy, can't you see you're destroying the environment? Alright. Leave the trees and let them be. Boy, boy, can't you see you're boring a hole in the ozone layer? When you drink your dirty rum and you fall and tumble down, do you see me standing with my steel pipe in my hand? I'm gonna see if I can play this album. Now you're in my garden. You and your squad is trying to cut down all I heard. In the tree. Alright, gonna pull this up now. Let's see how it works out.
Equal rights and justice for all.
Rise and never fall. I'm gonna turn it down. All right, so Critical Conversations Unique. Welcome, it's another Sunday. Thank you for watching live or watching later. I'm good same way. So, resulting from my social work education, you know, I have a lot to share and I like to hear from everyone as well. And that's why I love going on Instagram Live and I love coming here on Facebook Live. And today we're going to be talking about overworking. I wish I could get this phone on. Sure, I still so dead. I thought the phone was charged and it wasn't. I was like, good, it's already, it's done. It's done, but it's not. Hi. I can't read that. Seaford. Seaford, how are you over on Instagram? Cool. All right, so overworking. We have this culture of overwork, right? Oh my gosh. I remember one of my previous, I'm going to turn this down a little bit. I feel like I'm competing with who is singing right now. Who is this? Oh, they reach cable time. That's it. Anyways, of course, listening to Spotify. So this is a universal message, volume number 3. And it's available on Spotify. So far, so good. Everything cool. Good. Perfect. And my phone is turning on at the same time. So yeah, we have a culture of overwork, you know, like respond to the email right away and be there, you know, and that is sort of stressing people out quite a bit, wouldn't you say? I have some stats here. I have my handy dandy notebook because I like to do a little, check out some of the studies out there from, you know, different boards. This one here is from the Society Pages. It was actually printed from 2014. So this said, on average, and so we're talking, this is from a US article, so it's focusing on the US market. But on average, US workers with jobs, it said, put in more hours per year than workers in most developed countries. Okay, interesting. And then also, the article mentioned The Economist, and this publication, you're familiar with the job. How are you? It says The Economist released an article showing the strong negative correlation between yearly hours worked and hourly productivity. Okay. More importantly, the greater the number of hours worked per year, the greater the likelihood of premature death. The greater the likelihood of premature death and poor quality of life. Hi, Bob. I see you just checking in on Facebook. I appreciate that. Cool. So, you know, Les Brown is one of my favorite motivational speakers. And there is one quote that he talks about the statistics on heart attacks. They're prevalent on a Monday morning for people going out to jobs that are literally overworking them. They're not happy. And then they go and get a heart attack on a Monday morning. Jeez, that's scary. But it's true, you know. People are being overworked. I started when I saw this topic, because I'm still actually following, just going through all of the pointers on this list here. It was actually from the Black Physicians of Canada, and overworking is one of the things that they highlighted. You know, we're just being overworked. So I was reflecting actually just moments before I did this call. A friend of mine gave me a call from Toronto, and they were talking about the number of hours. I remember being in a position well over a decade ago, a young company, and working way more hours than I should have been. More so, one night, my manager at the time had me working on a project at the office till like late, like 10 p.m., 10:30, 11 p.m. And I did it. Why did I do it? I was young. I was within my 3 months probation. You hear me? And I'm just here, just doing my best. I was like, sure, I'm gonna be there. And I was without child. I wasn't married, you know, and so on. So for me, I was like, okay, I live close enough, so let me just do it. But was it correct? No, it wasn't. And that's why, fast forward to that would have been roughly just over a decade later, when I was working here locally in Calgary, and I was working with an organization. I have some days that I was working, other days that I weren't. You see, when I step out of the door, based on the position, because it wasn't a managerial position, unless the place is burning down and you're telling me not to come in, don't call me. And that's how I felt, because the work was extremely stressful, extremely intense. And so I wasn't going to be found overworking, okay, staying beyond the end of my shift. I wasn't planning to do it, right? And one person had the gall to call me on my cell phone, which again is not a company issued phone, to call me to ask me about some nonsense that you're going to have to take care. It's not like I was going to drive 35 minutes in, 35 kilometers. I'm 35 kilometers away, rather, right? I wasn't going to drive in. It wasn't so critical. Why are you calling me? And I set good boundaries. I set good, strong boundaries with work, with that work position. Because if you're overworking, now you're going to be burnt out. Now, how can you serve from an empty vessel? Right? Good. So this is, when you talk about overworking, it's something that impacts both men and women, or however else you may identify. Okay, I got to keep it inclusive, right? Affects persons, okay? Impacts persons negatively so. And especially when the whole corporate culture, it's like driving you to constantly be available, because the clients need it and we have competitors that constantly be there. You will die. You will die. You will burn out, right? Bring your stress home, right? And more so, if that sort of overwork culture of constantly being available and always there is not only one thing, but then also if it's a further more toxic work environment where your managers could be bullying you, okay? They could be threatening you in other ways, making you feel as if you do take the time off that is you're entitled to, that it's reflecting negatively on your interest to be a part of the company and to achieve company goals, right? Have you been there before? Right? Have you been there before? Companies do it, right? And then all of a sudden you find yourself working more and more. Now, one second, I'm gonna just open this phone here. I want to talk about also women. All right, now we're gonna shift the lens, because like I said, men are certainly impacted by overworking. Absolutely. All right. It's just that women now, when you think about, all right, let me share this with you. One quick second. I'm gonna just open this up. I want to get Facebook here. One quick second. I have some stats, some more stats here for you. I love to see my people living in love. Yo. All right, perfect. All right. So now, what is that? No, I don't want to do that. Perfect. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. So now the same article, there was a study done. I want to get the exact stats for you. That's why you see me spinning around a little bit because I was a little bit late in doing my homework today. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. However, there we go. So the traditional work family narrative. Okay, so when you talk about women itself in the workplace, and I'm not even talking about, I'm just talking about just based on gender. Don't even because there's so many intersections. How do you identify? I know I identify as a woman. I'm a human being, maybe. So I'm a human being, right? But also I'm a woman, right? So if you're going to talk about intersections, then I'm also identify as Black. I'm African descended, obviously. It's a little bit obvious, right? Right? Then I also identify as immigrant, okay? Because I come from an immigrant family, all right? Even my husband, even though he is a white male, he's still an immigrant, which is not the dominant identity in terms of career progression necessarily. Like you talk about the dominant structure, right? Bear with me, work with me now, work with me. All right, so I'm just talking about women and how women are impacted. So in terms of career progression, let's take a look at some of the findings here. So this was from a study by authors who spent 18 months at a global consulting firm. Okay, great. So now they notice, because you have the traditional narrative, the work family narrative is an old narrative when you talk about why aren't women seen at more senior positions in companies. Like, why is there the ratio is always tilting towards men? Okay, sorry, I gotta go back to the binary. Going back to the binary for a minute, or maybe I don't have to. Why isn't it that we're not seeing more persons that are differently abled up in the higher ranking of society? How about that, right? I don't see, and then you have, I wish I had my other friend here on the call, but when you talk about persons who identify LGBTQ2S plus, why is it that you're not seeing that that identity more dominantly seen in the hierarchies there? Okay, in the VP and the presidents and so on. Okay, great. So now we're talking about women though. This is the findings from authors who spent 18 months at a global consulting firm. So again, men struggle as well. We're not trying to pretend that men don't struggle. Men also struggle with balancing work and family, but they're still advancing. So now they took a closer look to say, what's really holding women back? So they found that, especially when it came time to, when you're talking about for those persons who decide to have a family, okay? Sorry. Hi, Benedict, I'll come back. Women were held back because they were strongly encouraged to go part-time, for example, or to take on internal roles within the company. So no longer client-facing, for example. And it adversely affected their, effectively derailed their careers. This was a study at 18 months at this global consulting firm, right? So why is it that the women, right? Why were they strongly encouraging the women to go take some time off, and then now it's negatively impacting their career progression, right? This is real stuff. This is real life happening. So this culture of overwork, it is there. It impacts different groups differently. All right. However, I'm here in the middle of this career progression. It is still important to maintain your boundaries and to take time for self-care. I think a lot of persons this year in particular, so many persons, whether they lost their jobs. I mean, if you think about the persons that got laid off, there's a lot of pain out there. There's a lot of hurt. And then you might be in a position now and you're thinking, well, Monique, I don't want to be the one to take the extra time off because my company is laying people off, or my company was bought out by another firm, and we know the positions are going to get reduced. So I want to show up and I want to be present and I want them to know that I am, working. 1 second. Hey, Victoria. Right? But it's not healthy. It's not necessarily healthy, and it's impacting your health negatively. All right. So it's important to take that time out for yourself, self-care, and set boundaries. In my case, as I mentioned, the position that I had here some years ago, I let them know. I said, when I'm not there, you do not need to be calling me because it's not that urgent. Please don't call me because I need to rest and renew in order to go back in the trenches again, because it was just a very stressful place to be. Extremely stressful. Okay, to paint it a little bit more clearly, I'm going to tell you exactly now. This was at a shelter serving homeless persons. So persons experiencing homelessness, and we were serving them, and it was an extremely stressful environment. Okay, but we're doing the work, and which is why I set the boundaries. I set the boundaries, and I encourage you to do the same. If somebody doesn't need to be calling you on Saturday morning, they don't need to be calling you on Saturday morning then. Okay. All right. So setting those boundaries. I mean, it's good to have standards. So for example, typically years ago when I was working at a firm in Toronto, I used to make sure 24, no more than 48-hour response time, especially to client emails, but also internal customers as well. I made sure to have certain standards, but in the middle of all of that, to still have the boundaries, okay, like we're talking about. So 1 second, I'm just gonna say hi over here. Hey, Benedict. Cool. Fired. Okay. So Victoria, she shared over on Instagram. She said she fired all of those bosses. Right? Fired all of those bosses, and the last one, COVID fired. That's what I'm telling you. And again, I hear you, and I'm happy for you, Victoria. I'm happy for you. You know what I'm saying? Because it would be kind of similar to my husband and I right now, right? Transitioning into working together because, take a look around, right? A lot of places are closed. Well, his arena that he was technically is the senior executive chef of, is now closed. There are no more live games, right? So here we are. Bills are still coming. Life is still going on, still have a family to raise. And so now we transition. And so there is opportunity to be found in the middle of the storm that we're all still in the midst of, right? And so that's why if I'm going to talk about certain things that we've seen, like this modern day civil rights movement, thank you, COVID. If I'm going to talk about all the persons that have decided to start a business, thank you, COVID. So I try, as much as I know people are hurting, but I still try to find something positive out of this experience. So that's what Victoria shared over on Instagram, that she fired those bosses that were too demanding, asking for too much, going past the boundaries, thinking because for $1, you're pressing me so much. No, thank you. Reject, return to sender. Hi, Annette. Over on Instagram. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in here. Cool. All right. So just checking out what's going over here on Facebook. Thanks again for even taking the time to listen to this. All right. Taking the time to listen to what I'm sharing here. Again, these stats are coming from persons that have done the studies. They've done the studies, and we know it to be true. The other joke that I find with overworking, and I just have to segue a little bit. Every time I hear overworking, do you guys remember what is show name? In Living Color? Do you remember In Living Color? Hey man, you remember the Caribbean family? They say, hey man, I might have 3 more jobs to go do. They came in from work and they're tired, and they says, hey, because it's pretty common actually for immigrants to come to the fine North America, or to the fine UK, fine Australia, fine Western countries. And then you're working hard, man. You're pushing for a couple of reasons. I got to Victoria says, I got 16 jobs. I hear you. Because that's like me. Sure, we have a company. We have a registered company, then we have different registered trade names under that company. So yes, it looks like say, I have several jobs too. So I hear you, Victoria. Yeah, man, you coming like, hey man, on that show, you had a family and they're working hard and they're immigrants in what would appear to be a city like New York, and you probably have a full-time job or two part-time jobs and on a rotation and casual basis here, and you're working and you're pushing. Why? Because you come from you migrated for a reason. Right? And we see these places as a land of opportunity. I'm not even going to get into, well, maybe I should on another day, as to, you know what, in fact, I'm going to digress a little bit now, because I just recalled I saw an article. In fact, I just saw it this morning on social workers rock. I love social workers. I love social workers. You know, social workers is actually one of the most important positions, right? I really feel so, because we're impacting, well, you have education, research, policy, and then practice. But the lens through which a good social worker is entering a space and having exerting or exercising rather critical reflection on how a situation, a certain time and space is impacting the different individuals in that space. All right, now I saw an article this morning with a university professor here. In fact, let me just open it. Let me just go straight over there. I want to make sure I get this correctly, because when I saw it, I was surprised and not surprised, frankly. So this was on cbc.ca. I'm going to open this up. All right. I know we're talking about overworking, but I have to digress because it came up. Academic targeted by racist messages following criticism of Alberta's pandemic response. Now, this is what academics do, okay? They will critically reflect, okay, from their lens on what the heck they see going on. So here is this man. I'm guessing by the last name, I'm guessing he's of Nigerian descent. I don't want to embarrass myself, but it's like Ogbogu. All right. He reported the messages to the Edmonton Police Services hate crime. Okay, so this just happened. When was this released? The other day. Today or what? 29. So yesterday. All right. So this academic received racist messages and he shared the voicemail. And so he was sharing that because, you know what? Critical reflection is needed. And it's missing. And that's why I love social workers, because now here's this guy saying he got this racist voicemail to his office number. And this is the kind of thing that happens when issues managers and press secretaries demonize academics for doing their jobs. This is a research. If you want to see the article, just ask me for it. But this person left this voicemail. He put it on Google Drive so that anybody can access it. And this person is calling him all kinds of stuff. Of course, racist things as well, and so on. And it's just unfortunate. But you know, my gosh, I mean, we have just a really, really long way to go. We have such a really long way to go. So when I saw this article, I said to myself, geez and peas, you know, I actually told the group that I got it and I said, thanks for sharing. I said, on one hand, I feel badly that he had to experience these sorts of attacks. But on the other hand, I'm glad because it's just another story of racism being alive and well in our country and our province. It is what it is, okay? It just is what it is. And it's unfortunate, but we need to have those conversations. Well, she said racists are gonna be racist, unfortunately. I get it, exactly. They are, but it shouldn't cause us to lower our voices, right? It should, they better get ready for me. I have something that I'm getting ready to put out, but I can, in good time, in good time. Because you see me, I'm not very shy. I will speak my mind quite freely as well. And if you're not paying my mortgage or my light bill, well, hey boo, I'm gonna let you know what I'm really thinking about the situation. So don't ask. Certain persons are not prepared to have a conversation with me. Like the lady that I said some facts to, and then she says, how could you say that? I says, well, did I lie? She said, no, but I can't believe you said that. Brethren, go take that to your pastor. Go and take that to your pastor. I don't have time for that nonsense. I don't have time to deal with your emotions. This is real life that's impacting real people. Great. Ciao. Vexing out. Vexing out. I'm gonna go back to Instagram for a second. So I have some comments coming in over here. All right, so racists are gonna be racist, unfortunately. And no, that's right. They will not lower our voices. They let somebody like me into their fine, fine institutions to read about the history, right? And to read peer-reviewed articles on all what the heck is going on. Trust me, I have a lot to say, But I try. What did she say? She said, but races are going to be races. I've turned into a verb. I've turned it into a verb. I hear you, Victoria. I love sharing conversations with you for sure. Fantastic. Zoe, hi. Thanks for joining. Last week, you weren't here on time, but that's all good. I saw the comment that you shared afterward, and I hope all is well with the family. Cool. All right. Woo! All over the map a little bit here, but I had to just get that one out because trust me, when I read this thing, I'm like thinking this man here, like he's doing his work and these people are attacking him for what? People can't exercise critical reflection skills. They don't have it. God, I have no time for this nonsense, man. Chop. Anyways. There's, what she said? There's no B are gonna racist. I got you. I heard you. So, okay, so Victoria said racists are gonna racist. I should turn it into a verb now. Listen, I'm actually finally starting to read that book. Jesus Christ, White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo. And she's experienced a lot of hate messaging from persons that are just not ready to have those conversations as to it is what it is. So I don't know what I'm gonna do when we're ready for release. So may release here now. Anyhow, okay. So I want to just check back over here. Cool. All right. Oh my word. All right, just go and chill out with this. Let me sort this out. Cool. It's everywhere, love. Oh, yes, it is, Zoe. It sure is. It's everywhere. Well, I mean, Zoe is in Jamaica. We're talking about overworking there. Man, we're underpaid, underemployed, right? You have underemployment as well, unemployment and underemployment, right? Okay, good. And yet we're still pressing and we're still working. Why? Because the bills are coming every month, right? And especially in Jamaica, whereby you'll be spending the dime while earning the nickel. It's not an easy road at all. Shout out to Bujo. Not an easy road at all. Cool. All right, sort this out a little bit here. So I'm gonna just close this up. Yeah. That's why music helps me quite a bit, to just chill. Set the boundaries and just chill. Set the boundaries and just chill. But overworking was interesting to me when I saw it on the list because we certainly do it, and I know that we do it as women too because we're wearing so many different hats. We're wearing so many different hats, and so we'll do that. But don't do, what is it, Biggie? Don't do nothing if your heart ain't in it, right? Man, I've had stories. I mean, stories and stories. I have another lady working with the government in her area, with her local government, and she was overlooked. When you talk about overwork, she would go above and beyond. Overqualified. You're talking about overworking? She was overworking in a position for which she was overqualified for, right? And then they went ahead and then hired somebody else with less qualifications than this person. Should I give some description as to it, or we're going to go back to race? I'm not going to bother today, but you might imagine. Anyway, so this was a female, and they happened to hire a male. If you want another side of her identity, she also happens to be African descended, and she also happens to be from an immigrant family. You understand me? Anyways, then they hired someone and then have her train that person. You hear me? And she was mad as hell. Mad as hell. Wouldn't you be? Damn it, yes. Mad as hell. And then you know what? You wouldn't imagine what happened next in her story. About, just a couple months within after that, she got laid off. On top of it too, maybe because she found her voice and she went and she asked her supervisors, could you help me to understand what's going on here? Hey, you understand me? Oh God, trust me. There's a lot of pain out there. There's a lot of stories out there, and it's just, trust me, it's too much. It's just too much. But anyways, I do my best to create these spaces so we can have those conversations and just be reminded that, listen, You don't have to accept what you don't want to accept. And if a space is no longer serving you, there are others that will appreciate you even more. So you need to be attuned and aware of that. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you? Right? And I mean, it's tough, especially when you're in a situation where you have responsibilities, right? And you're saying, geez and peace, but this is not where I'm supposed to be, right? But I'm just strongly encouraging you to make the shift. Make the shift. Did you hear that statistic? They're telling you the greater the number of hours you're overworking, the greater the likelihood of premature death now and poor quality of life. But can you imagine your happen now? What you say, Annette Joy? Happen now? Type again. Let me see what you're saying. Great. So she would say, so I was saying that it's impacting your health. Why are we overworking? Why? And then if you go and drop down dead, what's the point? What's the point? We have to have the balance. We have to, and let me tell you something. Overworking. My father is 71, but he's still going. And mind you, for him, it keeps him young and looking good and sharp, keeps his brain sharp. He loves working. He's used to working, and so he continues to work. He's 71. You understand? So I get it. Yeah, man. So in Yemen, in big companies, yes, it's happening. I'm just following up some comments on Instagram. A lot more comments coming in on Instagram today. But yes, it's happening right now. It's alive and well. It's alive and well. I remember being in this space, in this particular company that I worked in another province. May I try to be anonymous as possible. I don't want anybody come for me. Carelessly so. But yeah, this whole culture of overwork, like you gotta be there, and ding, 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 and zing, and as soon as the phone ding, 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 hell no, I ain't doing that stuff. I'm not doing it. But the difference also comes when you love what you do, right? If you love what you do, then your joy, you're already gonna be in a healthy space because you enjoy it so much it doesn't feel like work, right? So that itself it can make the difference for you. When I watch how some persons have transitioned into their own business, for example, and now it's just like that work-life balance that people people are craving that work-life balance. What does that mean? Or is it life-work balance? How about that? I'm not going to call it work-life balance anymore. Let's call it life-work balance. Because guess what? If you drop down dead today, they're going to hire Smaddy very shortly to replace you. So does it make sense? I don't know. It just doesn't add up in my mind. You get what I'm saying? It does not add up. So it doesn't make any sense. So it's better that you take care of yourself. Take time out for your self-care. Set your boundaries. Set your boundaries. And also your clients' expectations. Your clients' expectations. I've been in a situation whereby this was like project management. Project management, and you have all of the teams internally, and then we're dealing with our external clients. They could have been big money a little bit more, but then what were they doing? They were over promising. And when I say over promising, what that did was create a situation of pressure internally in the company. Now, especially when we had external suppliers. So for example, if you have an external supplier on a project, maybe a part of the project requires a deliverable that is printed material, right? But the printer already told you, hey, I need 3 days for turnaround. How the heck are you going to tell the client, we'll get it for you in 2 days? No, boo, no. Set those boundaries, right? Set those boundaries with your clients as well. I will get back with you by such time, but then make sure you deliver. Make sure you deliver, okay? Your word is supposed to be your bond, so make sure you deliver. But when people are asking you things that you know it's just unreasonable, right? You don't need to overwork to that point. Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. It's not necessary. Anyways, that's a little bit about my well, I'm sure it's yours. I'm not saying anything new either. You already know it too in your spirit. It does not make sense to overwork, right? And don't get me wrong, like, yes, I used to 10 years ago call myself an overachiever, but me not bother with that again. Yes, am I ambitious? Do I have a lot of things that I want to accomplish? And some of the things I just said, well, maybe next lifetime, because I only have 24 hours in each day, and certain things are important to me, as it should be for you, in terms of setting your boundaries, setting your time for just recovering and renewing your spirit to go back out there and face the world again, right? So setting boundaries is extremely important. Debrica, hi. Debrica, I've been meaning to call you, just coming back to Facebook for some people that I see tuning in. Crystal, hey, pretty lady. Crystal Sabdul, she is an artist. She's down in South Florida. You should check out her work. She's extremely talented. Crystal and I went to high school together. She's awesome. I mean, she's always been talented. From as far back as I can recall in high school, she's always been very artistic, very creative. And so she's a professional artist there down in South Florida. Crystal, I don't remember your website right now, but it's Crystal Sabdul. We were in the same class together for a couple of years when we just got into high school, probably grade 7 and 8. And Zoe Cunningham, Zoe is in Oterios. She has a school for preschoolers, and she's in Oterios. She's doing her thing. She's a businesswoman. She's doing her thing. And so we appreciate you for tuning in. And Benedict and I, we certainly, we had studied together, and he is working with Indigenous communities north of Alberta. So I just wanted to shout out to those persons. Robert Lee, he is in Michigan, and he's doing some awesome work as well. Just taking some time to shout out some of the persons that I see here. Robert Lee, he has an organization, it's a nonprofit called Third World People, 3WP. I have to make sure to come back and put the link in on Facebook when I go back and cross-check it with him. But Robert Lee is doing some amazing work. I mean, for years, Bob, as we affectionately call Bob, so Bob would travel for years with Peaches, as Peaches used to go, right? So she used to go down to like Costa Rica and these places to just give back. They have done well for themselves, and they go and they give back. They give back. Talking about giving back, this Thursday, let me check the dates. This Thursday, December 3rd, we're going to be hosting a virtual cooking class. So obviously, like, did you guys check the restrictions? They just ramped up if you're here in Canada or wherever you are. The numbers don't seem to be going down, so they're going up. And so further restrictions were put in place in the pandemic that we're still in the midst of. Anyways, so on Thursday, we're going to be hosting a cooking class. Now, this is in partnership with the Yippee Foundation. I'm going to make sure to share it again on my page. And that's something that you can tune into. You can buy tickets through Yippee Foundation. I'll make sure to put their contact details on this post so that you can make sure to reach out to them if that's something that you're interested in. So Antonio will be hosting that class on Thursday. Talking about hosting, as you know, it's Sunday. I'm so excited. You know, our entire house loves Sunday now. So our son, he said to me, I think it was Friday, and he's like, Mom, it's the weekend. Aren't you excited? And I says, what's going on in particular? And he's like, we're going to do In a Kitchen on Sunday. And I'm going to be taking the pictures this week. He's 8 years old, right? And he gets excited. Both of the kids really do get quite excited about what we're doing together, because it's really a family initiative. One of the orders we had, I mean, the entire family, like both of my parents are here, and everybody was working together to get the order out. So we're just enjoying the new space that we're all in. So at 2 p.m. Mountain Time, so that's 1 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. Check your local time zone. But we're going to be doing In a Kitchen live. So right now we do stream to Facebook. We just started streaming to Facebook, but we do honor streaming to this other one. What's it called? Instagram. I'm telling you, sometime the brain left me. Anyways, we'll have so much fun doing that. So we'll come back to that in a couple of hours. But thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. I mean, if you know someone out there that's like overworking, or maybe it's you, all right? Maybe it's you yourself, you understand me? Just take a minute to reflect on, and even just getting up in the morning. I don't know what your daily routine is. For me, and mind you, a few days last week, I did not exercise. However, exercising is important to me. Why is it important to me, right? Talking about self-care and boundaries, okay, to protect yourself, right? I love to exercise. Why? Primarily because I love to eat. Not gonna lie, I love to eat, right? As Jessica calls me, a professional food eater. which was so funny because I hadn't even seen myself in that light working beside Antonio. But I love to eat. I love to eat. And that's why Antonio loves me more because I do appreciate good food. But I exercise because you have to keep everything looking good. I always told Antonio, I always said to him, I said, when he would see me exercise and he said, why? No, he said, are you doing it for me? I said, no, I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it for me. You just benefiting from all of this work. Okay. I let him know. And so it's the same for you. What are you doing to take care of yourself? Because when you look good, you feel good. Fix up yourself, man. Fix up yourself. I take the time to just do things that feed my spirit. Right? Exercising is important to me. Then I'll also take the time to do some meditation. So for example, I got up, I'm an early riser. So I woke up, get my exercise routine in, and then I sit. A channel that I love. So I'll tell you my two channels. Okay. I'll just tell you my two channels for exercise. Heather Robertson. Okay. She's on YouTube. She's amazing. Now I know there's a lot of fitness persons out there. Pete's can too. I'm going to call your name right now because you might see this. Okay. I'm waiting for you to go virtual too, Pete. And I'm going to pressure you. I'm going to pressure you a little bit. I'll be holding you accountable. Okay. But Heather Robertson, I know there are a lot of trainers out there. Everybody's doing their thing, but I really like Heather's videos, the way that she edited them. She has, because some things you're just doing the routine, and then she just has a little ding, and then you know when to start, when to stop, etc. It's really, really awesome. Heather Robertson will get you in shape. She's on YouTube. And then for meditation, I go to Simply Hypnotic. And I just sit there, and I'm just encouraging you to do the same. Okay, I mentioned this last week. John Assaraf, he's a trainer. I mean, there's so many amazing people, but I happened to listen to a podcast with John a few weeks ago, and he said every hour, like literally, I just haven't taken the time to set it up on my phone for an hourly reminder to just check in, just to check in, be still. All right. And just hear your breath. Check in with yourself. How are you doing? All right. And to make a conscious effort to raise your vibration, right? So when I meditate in the morning, I sit there, I'm listening to that channel I mentioned, Simply Hypnotic, and I just, even when I don't know what to say, I just sit in gratitude. Because I'm alive. I'm thankful that my family is together, right? Family first. I mean it. I really do. I'm so thankful. And it's amazing to me right now that my family is well and all together, because we had a traumatic summer. You guys have heard that before. And so I'm really just so thankful. So I sit in stillness and I send love. I'll send like healing vibration over to whosoever. I call the names and I send positive vibration, because it's all love. And you see that word forgiveness, it'll release you, right? There's a quote out there. What did it say? Something like holding on to anger and hate and jealousy and all those things, right? It's like holding on to the hot coal. You know the one. It's like holding on to a hot coal. So you're only burning yourself. You're only hurting yourself, right? So you got to release it. And it's challenging and it hurts because of pain. Hurt people. Don't be a statistic there. Just release them. And you detoxify your life as well. So that includes if you're in a work environment that is really, really not serving you. All right. I mean, I'm a strong advocate for entrepreneurship. So I will always encourage you to start something. I don't care how small it is, start something. I'm telling you, if you happen to work 60 hours on your own business in comparison to 40 hours for somebody else, I'm telling you, it doesn't feel like it necessarily if you're doing something that you love, okay? So remember to design your business around the life that you will love, okay? Get clear on who you are. Get clear on what you like for your life. Get clear on that. Clarity is freedom. Shout out to Shanna K. Barnett over in Jamaica. We used to work together about 10 years ago, right? Clarity is freedom. She's the one that I know of coining that one, all right? Get clear on who you are, what type of life that you would like for yourself. Okay. There are persons that get into business and then, I mean, especially when you're getting in, you're not even thinking about an exit strategy. You're not necessarily thinking about an exit strategy at the time, but get clear on who you are, get clear on the type of life that you would like to design for yourself. I don't know what it is. You know what it is. You understand me? You know what it is. I don't. I'm just here to encourage you on your journey of self-discovery and to always remain self-aware. Remember, we all have intuition, but most of us have stopped listening, right? It's not just women's intuition, men have it as well. Perfect. You understand? So just remember to check in with yourself. Check in with yourself and find it's so easy to complain about what's not there. Let's remember to be thankful. I'm not saying anything you don't already know. I'm just here to remind you. I'm just here to remind you. I appreciate you, right? What's the purpose of this life? If we're just going to work, sleep, work, sleep, work, sleep, work. Remember to take the time to enjoy your life, enjoy your family, enjoy your loved ones, whoever, whatever it is. You might be single watching this and you're not trying to hear all this family business. You ain't got to worry about any kids. Maybe that's your case. What do you enjoy to do for fun, for pleasure, right? Go for a walk. Do you like to ride your bicycle? What about joining a class? What about meeting other people, right? What about meeting other people who enjoy, what's a great website? Meetup.com. I love that website, meetup.com. You go check them out, right? And you're going to meet other people that you like the same things. There was actually one group that I had gone to about four or 5 years ago here in Calgary. And it was a meetup group where we were playing, what's the game called? Cash Flow? No. Yeah, what's that Robert Kiyosaki game? I forget the name right now. I think it's called Cash Flow, right? But the adults one. We have the kids version here at home for the kids because we're always training them up for having that entrepreneurial mindset, right? But go get together. Go to meetup.com. Maybe you're going to meet people. And a lot of things are virtual right now. So if you're thinking, one of the groups that I'm a part of is Toastmasters. I know this doesn't sound like Toastmasters a lot, but this is not a Toastmasters forum. So I can go into broken English and it's quite fine. However, I love it. I enjoy it. It's like a word game and you're playing and you're meeting and you're networking and I'm meeting and I'm a part of an international community. I enjoy it. So it doesn't feel like work. What is it that you enjoy doing that wouldn't feel like work for you? Go find it so that you're not caught in that cycle of overworking. Remember to take the time out to enjoy your life and enjoy yourself and to celebrate your accomplishments. Take time to celebrate your accomplishments. Sometimes we're there working and pushing and working and pushing so hard and we forget to take the time out to say, hold on a second, let me take stock of all that I've accomplished. Oh, it's quite a bit here. Hold on, this resume is looking lengthy now that I've taken the time to stop, because especially, I don't know what your goals are. I don't really know. You know what they are, but sometimes you're pushing and you're working and you're not taking the time to pat yourself on the back. And that again also is impacted by the people that you have around you. Who do you have in your ear? Who is feeding into you? Who is feeding into your spirit? Right? They're going to stop you. They're going to say, hey, let's take a minute, take a breath. You're working so hard. Take a breath and look at what you have, just for encouragement to continue, moving in the direction that you see yourself going in, working in, accomplishing, whatever it is. Maybe you're in school right now. I don't really know. Maybe you're in school right now. You maybe have an exam coming up. I don't know. It's coming up to the end of the semester, right? You have projects and you have this and you have that. I hope you're enjoying what you're doing. I hope so for example, in my case, like I said, I had studied software engineering and then I didn't enjoy it. But I finished the program out of respect for my father, primarily, who I think it would have just devastated him had I dropped out. So I did that. And then I did marketing over in Ontario, did a marketing degree. And then 10 years later, I went back to school and I studied social work. And while it is not the most lucrative, right? Because I mean, like most people, when I would tell them, oh, I'm studying social work, they go, oh, that's so nice. They're like, oh, that's so nice. I know because of the world that we live in, I detect sometimes in some conversations that they're like thinking, "Ah, that's so cute. Like, that's not very lucrative though, dear. Why did you do that?" Because I enjoy. It's the best thing I ever studied. In fact, they hid it from me because I was there chasing software engineering and then a business degree. And here it is that now I'm able to integrate my social work studies into corporate team building, which is one of the verticals of our culinary consulting agency, with kitchen, which is a 360-degree culinary consulting agency. So we don't just do private events, we also do virtual cooking classes, and we also do corporate team building. So when you talk about enhancing corporate culture, okay, so that you can have a more cohesive workforce, yes, we do that. And we also have a consultancy whereby if you know food operators, you know the statistics out there for restaurants, high failure rate. Well, a lot of that is because certain things on the back end are not streamlined, okay? So therefore you want to reduce your food waste, you want to, in order to optimize your profits, right? To have SOPs in place, to have training in place and so on. And Tony is very, very good at that. So that's the consultancy part. But when you're doing something that you love, right, then it just doesn't feel like work so much, right? Maybe you already know what that is. But listen, I want to thank you all. What you say? Okay, I don't know which part you commented, Zoe, but sorry, I just took a moment to glance down on Facebook. I see Zoe had said so true and that you're guilty of it. So I don't remember exactly which part, but I'm happy that this resonated for you. If you like this program or you like this video, please share it with someone. It might be something just what they needed to hear today or to see today and to listen into. All right. So sharing is caring. You go ahead and you share this video with someone that you know that might be overworking, right? And needs to remember about setting your boundaries and taking the time out for self-care. You cannot serve from an empty vessel. It's not going to happen. All right. So set your boundaries in place. And again, like I said, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to be here with me on a Sunday. I appreciate you all. And I want to wish you a happy Sunday and a happy week ahead. All right. Thank you so much. This was universal message. Interestingly, I didn't say they pinged me this week about copyright. Let's see, but again, this is I really have to go to my homework here. However, this is universal message volume 3 on Spotify. That's what we've been listening to. Cool. All right, see you next week, boo. See you next week. I'm out. Thank you for being here. Right where we're back right where we started. Thanks, and see you next week.